Hello everybody, this is Noir. I am sorry about the small little break I've had for about 2 weeks, but welcome back to the Darkest Dungeon. I miss playing this game, and I miss you guys for the time that I've had to spend away. So let's just jump right to it. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to be recording my audio over my gameplay because it did not record properly. As you can see with this first fight, we are in fact in the cove and they are surprised. Give us a moment to do anything that we need to do first. So I immediately use the Plague Doctor to wipe the two in the back. The cove enemies are particularly susceptible to blight and bleed, basically damage over time. So the party formation is based on stunning enemies, then bleeding and blighting them out. The Vessel, Plague Doctor, Abomination, and Hellion all have stun moves. I don't think I have the stun move equipped for the Hellion in particular, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm going for. You want to focus on the two piranhas at the back. The jellyfish and the snail do not do a whole lot of damage. The worst is that one can stun you and the other one can give you a disease. But the two in the back, one of them hits very hard and the other one deals rest and can heal other party members. I choose to attack the snail for that sweet damage over time, however. It doesn't have a whole lot of health, just high protection. As you can see, the Crimson Curse sometimes makes it so that party members will refuse to be healed, such as the Abomination there. It's not going to play too much into this battle in particular, but something to be aware of for any future quests we go on. And then there goes two out of the three enemies, and the other two already died. So I use this time that we have to heal as much and to heal as much and to also de-stress as much as I can. I'm going from battle to battle, skipping over the curios for the most part. Mostly because the curios are they're case by case. So me explaining each specific curio, it's gonna just spend so much time just doing that. I will be sending a link in the description explaining what items you can use with what curios and the percentages and the positives and the consequences of using those items or going in blind.
A devastating blow.
The Abomination and the Plague Doctor had this beautiful, well, all three of the front members have this beautiful strategy. The Plague Doctor hitting the ones at the far back, the Abomination hitting the ones in the middle, and the Hellion hitting the one in the front for the most part with their damage over time attacks.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
It allows me to be able to whittle down their health very quickly. And thankfully for us, the Plague Doctor also still has her Incision move, which is not as strong as her Blight. But in cases like that, where there's an enemy in the middle, it certainly helps us in at least this quest in particular. I'm going to stun him just so he can die on his next turn. And then we'll deal with the pelagic grouper in the front.
Maintain the offensive.
The Abomination comes with a move that allows him to both regain health and regain stress. And you're going to see me use that move a lot. I'm going to do some random moves every now and then Less because I want them to be healed, but more that they have a chance of getting a crit, which will also decrease their stress. And I'm showing this all up just so this is what happens when I skip over most of the battles. With this group here, our immediate worry is a guy in the front. On his second turn, I believe, he will explode, dealing a lot of damage to everybody. But I also do not want to ignore the ones in the back either. The Thrall isn't a huge threat. Especially when you get weeds going on him. And here we didn't even need it. It just makes the upper two just easy pickings for us. Easy combination between all party members. I'm able to just make very short work of them. Stun them and then repeat the process that I had before. You see that he is unstunned, but he can't do anything, which allows us a chance of getting as much health and stress back as we can.
Sedated.
A very lucky crit with the abomination, and the shaman is dead. Now, I did say that I was going to skip over me walking through the halls, but I want to make a quick note of the abomination. He has those mosquitoes flying around him. That means he is wasting away. If we were to continue too much, he would die because of the Crimson Curse. But thankfully, and luckily for us, we had the Sack give us a bottle of the blood, which resets his timer. Unfortunately, our party members are going to fall apart against this particular setup because they're more resistant to both blight and stunts, which makes an unfortunate case for us, especially when it comes to our abomination, who we just have to hope that he can win in a good blight skill. I did not want to transform him. If you didn't know, the abomination is a werewolf. I forgot which episode I showed him off in originally. I might link it. I might not. But I do not want to do that because he stresses out the party members and he also keeps stressing himself. So something that we would have to grin and bear for this particular fight. Picking who to target is top priority.
As the enemy crumbles.
And with our selected targeting, we managed to kill 3 of them, basically, out of the 4. All that's left is another one with, granted, the fair amount of his health left. There we go. This party formation is fairly simple. Thankfully, the human enemies are as susceptible to the blight and bleed attacks as the pelagic enemies. I want to focus on the acolytes, especially because of her stress-dealing move.
Decimated.
And thankfully, I got rid of the shaman immediately. Now, the one on the front has a decent enough bleeding attack, and he also guards. I'm not sure if I ever really went guards for the enemy, but basically I can't target them. Any target that I make to them will switch over to the person guarding. It works very similar to how we do on enemies, but it works very similar to when we guard with the Antiquarian or the Man-at-Arms coming up later this episode. This makes the battle a little more tricky, since the classes I have don't tend to really deal damage to multiple targets like that. But thankfully he is unguarded, so I'm able to get a quick slice at the brawler, effectively crippling him. All that's left is the octopus. It's a good thing that we killed the shaman immediately so he doesn't heal the brawler, not that I think it would really matter a whole lot. After one last lucky little dodge, we are able to complete this quest and the battle. We're able to complete the battle and the quest as a whole, is what I meant to say. And I'll see you guys when we get back to the Hamlet. Back at the Hamlet and our stagecoach, I find that we have both an occultist and a man-at-arms, and I would love to have both, for reasons I'll explain later. However, in order to make room in our roster, I had to remove a hero.
Suffer not the lame horse, nor the broken man.
Both party members are more supportive, and the occultist also is a healer. That's not going to come in use for this first fight, but however, I do pull one of the spiders back to deal damage. You can then immediately see that they gang up on my Antiquarian, stunning her, then trying to blight her. Thankfully, the blight attack misses, but this is one reason why the spiders are one of the most feared enemies in Darkest Dungeon as a whole. They can completely annihilate a hero if you're not careful. I then activate Repost with the Man-at-Arms. This marks him, meaning that some enemies deal more damage and will target him, but this will also allow him to strike back. We're going to see it in action in a little bit as we just clean up most of these spiders right now. Thankfully, even though the spiders can be incredibly dangerous, they're also very squishy. They usually go down in a few hits.
Destroy them all.
There's really not much else to really say, but they don't really leave too much of an impact. I've been waiting to get a Man-at-Arms since the beginning of this playthrough.
As the fiend falls,
because he is a particularly great boss killer, or boss killer supporter, especially for the Prophet, which is also a
press this advantage. Give them
when we go and fight the Prophet, I will show that more later. Here we have a typical skeleton setup, and naturally I focus on the quarter. Removing the primary stress damage dealer.
Their
Good idea.
formation is broken.
Like I said, health is
Maintain the
easier to recover
offensive.
than stress. And these enemies aren't particularly that powerful except for the crossbow wielder. Using the man at arms, I increase our dodging. As expected, you kind of don't see that with the first attack or the third, but I increase our dodging. I immediately focus on the airbus, wanting to get him out of the way since he deals a considerable more amount of damage than the other two. That being said, I can whittle away their health when they're out of reach, but here I use the occultist to pull him in reach. Ideally, against this kind of formation, you want to keep the clubber alive. Or, well, not keep him alive, but focus on him last. Because his damage is so low that usually he's not much of a threat.
Skill and purpose.
You're gonna find that the weird reconstruction is a very fickle healing move. It goes anywhere between 0 to, I believe, 12 at level 1.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
But not only does it have a chance to deal 0 healing, but it can also cause bleed. And in this fight, we will see more of that. Our cultist gets dealt some heavy stress here. Unfortunately, he will be tested on that later. I take one of the sycophants and want to focus on him. However, one of the fleas gets a lucky Crimson Curse infection in. But to me, I make a little bit of a mistake and kind of neglected them a little bit. I increase our dodge. You can only use that move once per battle, but it is a considerably massive buff to healing, or dodging, sorry. Thankfully, that sycophant missed the first attack, which means he does not get his health back, and we are able to kill him easily. Before he ever gets a chance. Unfortunately, the other one did, so now we have a little bit of a problem to take care of. And unfortunately, marking the man-at-arms is going to cost us a little bit later in regards to the bloodsuckers here. Like I said, his healing is very fickle. That heal that I just did to our antiquarian basically means nothing because of the fact that she was healed for free and the bleed is 1 point of health per turn. You might have noticed I had the antiquarian be guarded by the man-at-arms. This is just to make sure that she does not take further damage, or well, takes less damage, so I can get another heal in really quickly. But since he's in more danger, I focus on the man-at-arms first. It buys me some time for her. Seeing an opportunity, I try to heal up a little bit. But unfortunately, this actually manages to cost me, and another party member becomes a vampire inflicted with the Crimson Curse. Thankfully, I get that heal in for the antiquarian that I wanted. So, we were able to wrap this up pretty quickly.
As victories mount, so too will
I didn't use our
resistance.
only key, well, one of our only keys here. This will
Glittering gold,
be
trinkets
coming
and
back later.
baubles, paid for in blood.
And you might notice in a little bit that our food supply is a little low. And here we find ourselves against a bunch of bandits. The occultist has a move that will allow us to weaken a particular enemy, or to use it on the bloodletter. So that way he deals less damage to us. And then I use Shield Breaker to go for the one in the back. The bloodletter, however, gets a lucky crit in,
A dizzying blow to
which deals
body
even
and
more
brain.
stress damage to our antiquarian, despite the fact that I already did stress. With the antiquarian, I immediately use Guard Me on our man-at-arms. That way she won't take any further damage.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
However, our party is not holding up so well, and because of the fact that we're against 3 enemies that tend to deal damage to more than one target, I mark our man-at-arms and allow him to be able to strike back. I heal the man-at-arms first because he's in more danger than our antiquarian. Just as predicted, the riposte managed to kill the gunner in the back. I increase our party's dodge
The
ability.
blood quickens.
He already deals enough damage to the one in the middle. Thinking what to do, I further increase our dodge. And fortunately for us, it seems to be working pretty well. For the most part. Now's the time for us to heal the antiquarian. Luckily, she did not get any more bleed. I killed the one in the middle because he tends to do more damage than the one in the front, outside of a few particular moves. I banish the antiquarian, and I give a... Nope, just kidding. I increase her dodge. Time for us to deal just normal damage to him until he's dead. It's here that our party is taking quite a beating, and we will need to heal pretty soon. In order to take less damage for now, I increase our dodging again. However, it seems like he has some pretty good dodging himself. This becomes a little bit of a running gag, and this becomes a little bit of a running gag in this fight of me being unable to hit anything with the shield breaker. However, this does give me enough time to properly heal our party members. Yeah, the shield breaker just keeps hilariously missing. Our antiquarian keeps increasing our dodge. It goes up to a certain threshold at a time, but I'd rather not take damage. Man, arm strikes back. I buff our party members some more in order to increase their accuracy mostly.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
And then comes a vicious cycle of healing and increasing. It then becomes a vicious cycle of healing and increasing dodge. Seeing that the shield breaker is not going to deal damage to him anytime soon, I instead guard her with the protection there. However, he is now one hit away. I use the impale in order to make that hit.
Intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Open up the chest with the key and got a few things.
Huddled together, furtive.
I decided to camp because everybody's low on health,
Rats in a maze.
and I wanted to heal them. I buff our party members with tactics. I use that buff for the man-at-arms, buff our whole party's protection, and then immediately get hit by a trap.
Watch your step.
Don't remind me. Here are some more bandits.
The wounds of war.
I decided to use this time to heal even more.
But never hidden.
Unfortunately, he gets a blanket fire before I was able to strike back with the man-at-arms. Instead, I use the shield breaker to blight him. I really get the guard up for the Antiquarian, the most fragile member, as we all know. The bandit in the back is now officially dead.
Slowly.
And on top of that, we were able to strike back.
This is how a life is taken.
The occultist gets another lucky crit in for our men-at-arms. Thankfully, even when the man-at-arms dodges an attack, his ability still goes off. This is pretty integral, especially in dealing with these guys. I blight the member in the middle the same as I did the one in the back.
Exposed to
But he dies before he is able to take damage anyway. A good heal for shield breaker there. And I managed to finish off the last member with the mace. Here we get a very lucky dodge. I decided to do a impale, damaging everybody. However, our cultist takes a whole lot of stress damage during this battle. And we'll see if he gets afflicted or virtuous. When you mark one of your party members, certain enemies will tend to gravitate more towards them for extra damage, such as with the Brawler. And I want the Brawler to go after the man-at-arms instead of anybody else. Here, the Occultist gets the Fearful Affliction. You'll see that it does affect him in combat. That being said, he did get a very lucky stress seal there from his own crit. I buff everybody.
Inspiration.
And then I try to go for the courtier. The one in the back manages to push the Shieldbreaker backside to move her. But luckily that one skeleton died in the process. To give her a taste of her old medicine, I push her towards us in order to get her within range for our man-at-arms and Shieldbreaker. Well, not so much the Shieldbreaker, the man-at-arms. The Shieldbreaker can attack from any position. Unfortunately, that move dodged. Unfortunately, that move missed, but he was able to activate his ability. And thankfully, this kills a Brawler. Our cultist, however, keeps on doing stress to our man-at-arms, unfortunately. This is a result of being afflicted. When the Bone Courtier is pulled more toward the front, they can only use one attack called Knife in the Dark, which thankfully does not deal stress. You see that the occultist passed his turn because he is afraid. The Acolyte is dead. Oh, that's his Courtier, who really can't do much. But I decided to end it pretty quickly. I decided not to use the chest with a key, and you see that it's a little bit more dangerous.
So clearly in view. Or is it merely
And here we have our last battle for this quest as well as the video as a whole. Zero heal, no bleed though. If you had a drinking contest for how many times the occultist heals for 0, you'll probably get blackout drunk by the end of your quest. So same deal as before, just buff everybody, then start working on the enemies. And hopefully not have them cause fervor blight.
Ringing ears, blurred vision.
After this battle, I did not want to stick around because the shield breaker and the man-at-arms have low health. And with that constantly happening throughout the entire quest, it's not something that I want to risk them having, especially when our occultist gets stunned almost immediately. I focus on the mosquito in the front because, well, it did not get the heal go through. And our shield breaker is now a vampire. Things are looking a little bit grim. So I need to heal the man-at-arms as fast as possible, and I get that nice crit in to make sure he gets all of his health back. Thankfully we have such immense luck that this sycophant is just not getting to heal them with his move. And I managed to finish it off. Like I said, I usually target the sycophants first because of their self-healing ability. I think that's a solid strategy. If somebody wants to tell me otherwise, they can. I am willing to listen. And with one of them left, should be a nice wrap up. Coming fairly soon. Unfortunately for us, they have a ton of health. But thankfully our man-at-arms is able to whittle it down. Unfortunately, our occultist, he's stressing out the other party members just constantly. It's unfortunately something that we all had to deal with here. But there is a secret room that opened up. I use the last of our food to heal the man-at-arms just in case. And I believe the secret room only happens when you have a key, when you bring a key in. And here we see that our next quest will be for your supplies. And that's gonna do it for the gameplay side of this video. And I want to tell you all right now, truly thank you everybody who is sticking around. It means immensely to me, and I cannot stress that enough. I hope to see everybody continue to watch in the future, and if not, I completely understand that as well. But for now, this will be it. I hope everybody enjoys the holidays coming up. I'll keep trying to post videos as much as I can. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.